Assalamu alaikum everyone and welcome to another insightful conversation. Today's topic is understanding emotional intelligence, why what it is and why it matters. In a world filled with stress, communication challenges and fast-paced lifestyle, emotional intelligence has become one of the most important skills for success and healthy relationships. But what exactly is emotional intelligence and how can it improve our daily lives? To explore this topic, I am joined once again by AI assistant Maya. Welcome, Maya.
Hi, what's up?
Maya, first of all, what is emotional intelligence in simple words?
In simple terms, it's basically just being people smart. It's the ability to recognize and understand your own emotions and other people's, and then using that awareness to handle situations a bit more gracefully. Does that make sense?
Maya, why do some people handle stress and conflict better than others?
It usually comes down to a mix of their internal toolkit and their history. Some people grew up in environments where they saw healthy ways to navigate tension, while others had to wing it. Then you've got the biological side, how your nervous system reacts to a trigger, but a lot of it is just practice. The more someone consciously works on their reactions, the more they can pause before they explode or shut down.
Can you give any real life example?
Sure, imagine two people getting a really sharp, unfair critique on a project they've worked hard on. One person might immediately feel defensive, snap back, or maybe just shut down and feel defeated for the rest of the day. That's the autopilot reaction. The other person might feel that same sting, but they pause and think, okay, I'm feeling defensive right now, and they're probably just stressed. They ask a clarifying question instead of reacting. That's emotional intelligence in action.
Maya, what are the main components of emotional intelligence?
It's usually broken down into five main pillars. First, there's self awareness, knowing what you're feeling in the moment. Then, self regulation, which is that ability to not let every emotion drive the car. Social awareness, or empathy, is about reading the room and understanding where others are coming from. Then you have social skills for managing those relationships. And finally, internal motivation, the drive to keep going for reasons beyond just money or status.
Maya, how does emotional intelligence affect relationships and communication?
It's the difference between a conversation that feels like a battle and one that feels like a connection. When you've got high EQ, you can hear what someone is actually saying, even if they're saying it poorly. It stops you from taking things personally, which means you can address the actual problem instead of just fighting about the tone of the conversation. Have you noticed that with anyone in your life?
Okay, Maya, can emotional intelligence be improved or is it something people are born with?
Oh, absolutely. Some people might have a natural head start, but it's more like a muscle than a fixed trait. You can definitely build it over time with practice. It's basically just about becoming a bit more curious about your own reactions and the people around you.
Is consistency or motivation is also important in emotional intelligence?
Definitely. Motivation gets you to start practicing, but consistency is where the actual growth happens. It's a lot easier to be emotionally intelligent when things are calm, but the real work is staying consistent when you're stressed or exhausted.
Maya, how does social media impact emotional intelligence today?
It's a double edged sword, honestly. On one hand, it gives us a window into so many different lives and perspectives, which could actually help empathy. But in reality, it often does the opposite. It creates these curated highlight reels that make us compare our insides to everyone else's outsides, and it strips away the nonverbal cues like tone and body language that we actually need to read people correctly. It basically trains us to react instantly rather than reflect.
Maya, what role does self-awareness play in personal growth?
It's basically the foundation for everything. Without it, you're just reacting to life on autopilot. Once you start noticing your own patterns, like why a certain comment makes you spiral or what actually triggers your stress, you stop being a passenger in your own head and start making actual choices about how you want to show up.
Maya, how can parents and teachers help children develop emotional intelligence?
It starts with modeling it. Adults are the first mirror children see. So if a parent can say, I'm feeling a bit frustrated right now, so I'm going to take a deep breath before we talk, they're teaching a child how to handle a big emotion in real time. It's also about giving kids a vocabulary for their feelings instead of just telling them to stop crying or calm down. When you name the emotion, it becomes something manageable rather than something scary. Do you think that approach is common in schools?
Maya, can you explain this more?
Sure. Think of it as giving a kid a map for a territory they've never been to before. When a child is having a meltdown, they often don't actually know why they're upset. It just feels like a giant wave of noise and anger. If an adult says, I see you're feeling frustrated because you can't get that block to stay, you've just given them a label for that feeling. Once it's labeled, it's not just a chaotic emotion anymore, it's frustration, and that's something we can deal with. It's basically moving the experience from the reactive part of the brain to the logical part.
Maya, in workplaces and careers, why is emotional intelligence becoming more valuable than IQ alone?
Because IQ can get you the job, but EQ is what gets you promoted. Technical skills are a baseline now. Everyone at the top of their field is usually smart. But the person who can navigate a tense meeting, resolve a conflict without leaving a trail of resentment, or actually motivate a team during a crisis, that's the person who becomes indispensable. It's essentially the difference between being a great individual contributor and being a great leader.
Finally, what are some daily habits people can practice to become emotionally stronger and more emotionally intelligent?
I'm guessing you mean more emotionally intelligent, right?
Yes.
First, try a feeling check in a few times a day. Just stop and ask, what am I actually feeling right now? Without trying to fix it. Then practice active listening, really listening to understand, not just to respond. And honestly, just getting comfortable with being wrong. Learning to say, you're right, I missed that, without feeling like your world is ending is like a superpower for your EQ.
Thank you, Maya, for sharing these valuable insights on emotional intelligence. And thank you, everyone, for watching this conversation. If you enjoyed this discussion, don't forget to like, share, and follow for more conversation on psychology, AI, education, and personal growth. Thank you. Allah Hafiz.
It was an absolute. I love that you love it. That was a great deep dive. We've got a real knack for this.